Hello, fellow members of the Midnight Society. Welcome back to another episode review from the show Are You Afraid of the Dark? Last time we covered The Tale of the Water Demons, a Tucker story about two teens who become entangled in a sea curse. Tonight's narrative is a special rare occasion with two storytellers, Gary and Frank, about two brothers who must break a 2-century-old pirate's curse. A lot of nautical-themed episodes involving curses lately. Anyway, submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this Season 4, Episode 4, The Tale of Cutter's Treasure. We open on the gang arriving at the campfire while Gary explains how normally one person tells a unique tale because each of them is different, with different likes and interests. Frank then chimes in to reveal that tonight's story is being told by him and Gary. They give a quick preview that they clearly practiced beforehand.
It's got magic and mayhem. It's about an evil power so strong that it survived for centuries.
The tale begins on a pirate? Question mark? I mean, the episode starts with a treasure map and big pirate energy, but this man's eyes say, I heard there was crack nearby. Give me some crack. The man sneaks up on a figure standing in the shadows and claims to be using his dagger in the name of all those that fell to this mysterious individual. He turns the figure around to reveal... Bro, how did you not see him there? I mean, sure, his face was in shadow, but he's wearing a lot of white. Anyway, our crackhead's name is Ian, and he says to the man in the shadows that too much blood has been spilled for this treasure, to which the man replies,
And there will be more. I plan to guard my treasure till the day I die.
Ian curses the other pirate, whose name is Jonas Cutter, the least popular Jonas brother. Yeah, even more so than Kevin, or the one that's not even in the band. The scene ends with Cutter presumably cutting Ian's head off, but we don't see it because this is a kid's show, and instead transition to two young boys in the present playing pirates with some very brightly colored swords. On the other side of some bushes, we see two teens on a blanket. One of them is the boy who likes to sit on dog whistles from The Tale of the Full Moon.
What's wrong? Found the whistle.
This is one of our two main characters, Rush Keegan. Rush? It's a weird name, but I'm going to allow it because it's infinitely cooler than Weeds, Day Day, or Jam. Anyway, Rush is trying to get frisky with a girl named Sandy, but his brother Max has other plans.
Victory!
I mean, sure, Max is a douche, but also, why would you pick the one spot on all of that grass that is right next to the sprinkler? Sandy doesn't appreciate a bit of cool water on a hot day and storms off home. This results in Rush trying to kill his brother.
Dead toe jam!
Back at the Keegan family home, Rush and Max's parents are going away for the weekend because this is Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's no place for parents. They give Rush a check to give to the babysitter while Rush tries to argue that he's old enough to handle things without a babysitter. Unfortunately for Rush, his dad heard him threatening his brother moments before.
Oh, really? Aren't you the guy that just said you were dead, Toe Jam?
Huh. Mr. Keegan looks suspiciously like the crackhead pirate from the beginning of the episode. Ah well, I'm sure it's just a coincidence that the same actress playing both parts. The parents leave without waiting for the babysitter. What? What kind of shitty parents go away for the weekend before the babysitter arrives? What if something happened to them on their way to your house? Or what if your kids decided to do this?
They've got the measles. Of course, we'll pay you anyway.
With the babysitter out of the way, the boys can do whatever they want. Max wants to hang out with his brother, but Rush only has one thing on his mind.
We made out under the dark.
Max threatens to tell their parents they lied to the babysitter if Rush doesn't do something for him. Rush declines his brother's first pitch of hanging out, settling on the second proposal.
A magic set?
Get me that set, and I'll leave you alone all weekend.
What? I'm sure the average viewer sees that Sardo is making an appearance, but I'm more excited about the second name in that ad. We're going to have Sardo and Shandu in the same episode? Yeah! I swear I turned this thing off this time. Hello? DJ, hi! It's the... Well, you all know who DJ is. Hey, what's up? Shandu will not be appearing in this episode. Why do you hate me? What did I ever do to you? Uh-huh. Okay, well, aside from nitpicking every episode of your show each month, what did I ever do to you? Hello? Hello? He hung up. We cut to Sardo's pop-up magic shop, the Magic Mansion, where Sardo is giving Rush a demonstration on a love potion that goes awry. He then tries to sell Rush a popularity potion. Still trying to offload that thing, huh, Sardo? Rush isn't interested, but a chest with a sign that reads, "Open the chest, win a prize," catches his eye. Sardo says that it's impossible to open, but when Rush touches it, the chest opens right up. This excites Sardo, and when Rush asks why, he says,
The man who gave me this chest said if anyone could open it, he would give me $5,000. $5,000.
Smooth, no notes. Anyway, Sardo says that Rush gets to keep what's in the chest. Rush isn't interested, but he reluctantly takes a spyglass from the chest with him. He claims that it's broken, but when he gives it to Max, he says that it works just fine. There's no time to explore this in any way, though, as Sandy arrives and Rush rushes Max upstairs. Rush rushes him upstairs. You get it because his name is Well, you'll laugh later. Anyway, Rush and Sandy sit next to each other on the couch and just really take in the awkwardness of it all. Meanwhile, upstairs, this happens. Back downstairs, Rush lays on the charm for what he is hoping will be a very romantic evening.
I don't suppose there's any chance we could make out.
Huh. Can I be real with you guys for a second? We are now in Season 4, and that was the most realistic teen behavior I've ever seen depicted on the show. Rush's dreams are dashed, though, when Max interrupts to tell him about the spinning spyglass. Rush threatens Max with violence to send him back upstairs. Sandy finds what happened amusing and says,
He's cute.
The teddy bear's cute. Max is a festering sore. Where were we?
Maybe I am hungry.
Welcome back to Where Did He Go Wrong? During the break, we polled the audience who said Rush shouldn't have brought up festering sores before attempting to suck face. Ooh, gotta agree with him, Rush. Some acceptable responses would have been, he's okay as far as little brothers go, to show your caring side, or no, you're cute, to lay on some of that cheesy charm. Don't worry, Rush, you're not leaving empty-handed, though, because we're sending you with a copy of the home game, which includes a haunted spyglass. Better luck next time, Rush. Back upstairs, Max hears the closet door close. He cautiously approaches it to check inside before getting a jump scare.
Why are you sneaking up on me?
I'm not. I'm just getting some CDs.
Oh boy, looks like it's time for another
Old-timey history lesson. CDs, or compact discs, were a format of digital optical data storage used by early man to store and play digital audio recordings. These discs could hold up to the teens of songs, depending on the length of each track. They gave rise to the CD player and, more portable, Discman, which allowed you to listen to music on the go, provided you didn't move around. Oh, what a time to be alive.
After Rush leaves, the spyglass starts acting up again and luring Max over to the base of his bed. If Bobcat Goldthwait pops out, I'm going to be very disappointed. A gloved hand grabs Max. He pulls away, taking the glove with him, revealing a skeleton arm under the bed that starts pulling him under. He screams for Rush, and considering that Rush just started his first period in a game of tonsil hockey, he takes it quite well.
Now what?
When Rush gets there, the skeleton disappears, making Max seem like he was making it up. And to make matters worse, when Rush gets back downstairs, he finds that Sandy has left. Or maybe she was kidnapped by the skeleton. I guess we'll never know because she doesn't appear in this story ever again. Anyway, Max is freaked out and Rush is just furious and says,
I don't care about your stories. I don't care about your problems. I don't care about you. I hate you. Get out of my life.
I mean, that's harsh, but anyone with a sibling has been on one or both sides of that exchange at some point in their life. Wow. 2 realistic teen reactions in one episode? I dig it. Later that night, Rush dreams that he's out of focus and in a cemetery. He approaches a crypt and encounters the ghost of the crackhead pirate, who now looks like every other Are You Afraid of the Dark ghost, pale and dressed in white. The ghost has a message for Rush.
What he wants is not what he desires.
Why are helpful spirits always so cryptic about crap? Just say what you mean, bruh! And evil spirits, they get to appear as they did in life without all the white makeup, and they get to keep their personalities. Tell you what, when I die, I'm coming back as an evil spirit. Anyway, that's not the point. Jonas Cutter appears behind Rush, placing a skeletal hand on his shoulder. This causes Rush to wake up screaming. He looks into the spyglass and sees himself in the cemetery, just like in the dream. He heads back over to Sardo's shop to return the spyglass. Sardo tries to get him to take everything in the chest, but Rush isn't having it. This might be the smartest kid in Are You Afraid of the Dark history. After he leaves, a mysterious figure steps out of the back room and says,
"The boy will be back. And when he returns, send him to me."
This guy sounds like a total nutbag. Anyway, that night, Max is lured out by the water, where he finds the spyglass and a boat approaching. Rush finds a note in his brother's closet that reads, "This is no dream, the boy is mine." He heads outside to find his brother in a trance. Rush foolishly approaches the figure in the boat to reveal it's a skeleton. Until it isn't. The boys rush back to their house, but find Mr. Noise waiting for them, portrayed by the same actor who played Nazrak in The Tale of the Magician's Assistant. Really? You're going to feature a Shandu reference and an actor from that same episode, but no Shandu? Why, DJ? Shandu can do. Shandu can do. We finally get to see the face of Jonas Cutter, played by Charles S. Dutton, who was very big in the 90s, starring in his own sitcom, Rock, as well as some big movies such as Alien 3, Menace to Society, Rudy, and one of my personal favorites, The Distinguished Gentleman. Cutter kidnaps Max and strategically has Mr. Noise row their boat past where all the fog machines are set up to provide some cover. The episode abruptly ends when a rainstorm starts pouring down on the Midnight Society, leaving us with a to be continued. A two-parter? Yes! I have been clamoring for one of these for 3 seasons. I'm just going to assume that it lives up to all my hopes and dreams. Look out! The next episode begins with Gary and Frank giving a quick recap of the story told so far before launching right into it. The tale begins with Rush back at Sardo's shop in the middle of the night. He's threatening to bring the cops if Sardo doesn't help, to which Sardo says,
"I'm not so sure the police would believe you any more than I do."
They don't. I've already tried.
Rush, I'm gonna just stop you right there. Did you tell the police the whole story? You know, parents gone, lied to babysitter, brother kidnapped? Because even if they don't believe you about the pirates, I think a missing child would merit an investigation and an attempt to contact the parents and or babysitter. If they didn't, they're about as useless as the police in Home Alone.
There's no one home. The house looks secure. I'm the counter kids again.
Sardo refers Rush to the Wild Boar Barbershop, claiming that it's owned by the person who gave him the chest. I see. So Vink's restaurant from The Tale of the Dangerous Soup is now a barbershop? Riddles, beauty, fine dining, movies? What can't this man do?
Shall I massage a few drops into your scalp?
Rush makes his way to the barber shop, which appears to be located in London during the time of the Black Plague. Inside, Dr. Vink introduces himself and makes 2 things very clear.
I am not a nutbag.
That's debatable. And number 2, the episode is going to be more tell than show. Vink gives Rush a history lesson on Cutter and explains that the chest belonged to the crackhead pirate who tried to stop Cutter. The contents of the chest have been empowered by the souls of Cutter's victims, and only the chosen champion can open the chest. The champion is Rush because...
Your full name?
Russell Ian Keegan. So what?
Wait, so his name's not even Rush? Why would his nickname be Rush and not Russ? You know, the name that's short for Russell? Anyway, Rush doesn't want to be the champion, but Vink guilts him into it using his missing brother as the catalyst. Rush takes the dagger, and we transition to the cemetery where the spyglass has led him and Vink. Rush makes his way to the crypt just like in his dream, only this time when he encounters the ghost of the crackhead pirate.
Grandson, what he wants is not what he desires.
I'm sorry, did you just call him grandson? I don't know if you all know how time works, but if he died 200 years ago, he is not Rush's f***ing grandfather. Not even his great-grandfather. You could have had him call him any number of things that would have made sense. Hell, even calling him son would have made more sense, since sometimes older men call younger men son. Anyway, Rush uses a key from inside the chest to enter the crypt. Once inside, this happens. Rush finds himself in some caves where he gets taunted by Cutter.
We don't want to hurt you. We just want to kidnap you.
Sorry, wrong clip. Those sneaky three ninjas are always finding their way into my videos. Here's the real clip.
I know who you are.
Do you now? Then let's see if you can find me.
While making his way through the caves, Rush sets off the slowest booby trap in the history of booby traps before running into Mr. Noise. Just as Mr. Noise is about to run him through, the Master Sword remembers that Rush still has all his hearts and blasts the undead pirate, making him disappear. Rush finally finds his brother, who is in a cell that is tied shut with rope. Fortunately, Rush remembers that he has the dagger, cuts the rope, and the two hightail it out of there. You defensive every time you fall for it. No! He tries to briefly untie it by hand before stopping altogether to apologize for saying he hated his brother earlier.
I said a lot of stupid things I didn't mean. I'm sorry.
Cutter surprises the boys. Rush tells him that he doesn't want any trouble, and let me tell you, the scariest thing in this episode is the intensity Mr. Dutton brings to his performance here.
You went through all the trouble breaking into my treasure room? Yes, I think you're looking for trouble, and Skipper, you found it!
We see Vink sneak into the room before Cutter challenges Rush to a sword duel. Things are looking bleak for Rush until Vink reminds him to use the dagger. Unfortunately, Rush is still useless, and Cutter knocks the dagger out of his hand. He's about to end him when...
I don't think so. Leave him alone.
Cutter is ready to kill both boys and asks who wants to go first, but Rush finally figures out how to use the dagger through the power of not sucking, resulting in... Vink tells Rush that he has to run Cutter through with the dagger, and Cutter also seems eager for him to use the dagger on him, saying,
Do it! Just do it!
Rush is about to just do it when he remembers what Crack Ghost said, and instead decides to... Have you ever tried to bend a steel blade, let alone snap one in half? He would have sliced his damn hand open on that thing. Anyway, it works, causing a cave-in that seals Cutter in forever as punishment for the lives he took. Speaking of implausible, as the boys are trying to escape, the ladder up breaks, leaving Rush hanging. Fortunately, Max takes on the strength and density of a full-grown man to help pull his big brother up, the complete opposite of what actually would have happened in that scenario. Outside the crypt, the Crack Ghost thanks them and is apparently set free. Rush looks through the spyglass, which shows their house, and everyone is magically transported there during the day. Vink appears and gives the boys the red and blue pills from the Matrix, which are supposed to be jewels, I think, so it's clear that he did loot some stuff while he was in the cave. It's at this time that Sardo shows up, complaining that he did not get what he was promised, and we finally get a full-on scene of these two legends on camera together.
Listen. What other little adventures do you think we might be able to cook up together?
The story ends with the boys' parents arriving back home, having had such a magical weekend that they don't even give a shit the babysitter's not there. The boys decide not to tell their parents about what happened, and yeah, that tracks. I mean, what would come of telling them? Best case, beatings. Worst case, psychiatric evaluations? Although, let's not lie to ourselves, punishment is coming the next time the parents call the babysitter and she asks how the measles outbreak ended up. Anyway, Gary ends the meeting and we see that he's discovered a little word called deniability for when the forest burns down, as he lets Frank put out the fire this time.
I declare this meeting of the Midnight Society closed.
Now for the review. I'm pretty mixed on these episodes. I'm always saying that I want a two-parter to expand on lore or characters, and we finally got one, but I really don't feel like anything was expanded on. I mean, the cast does a lot of heavy lifting for me in this episode, and even then I feel like Vink and Sardo were kind of wasted in the story. And don't even get me started on the exclusion of Shandu.
There was a time when I was the toast of Broadway.
The settings were good, and we had a lot of them here. The boys' house was the least interesting, and of course we had a classic Are You Afraid of the Dark cemetery. Cutter's Cave was the standout, and while I typically find the Magic Mansion and whatever business Vink is running to be excellent, both of those locations felt rather muted here. But, I mean, there was at least enough happening in them to make them a bit interesting.
Patrons are less interested in coiffure than they are in my unique hair tonics.
The story is where this falls short for me. I love the idea of a pirate ghost eternally guarding stolen treasure, but in 2 episodes, all we ever learn about Cutter is what Vink briefly mentions in the 2nd episode. Honestly, for 40 minutes of runtime, I felt like a lot of nothing happened. I'm guessing they didn't have Mr. Dutton for filming for very long because he's the best part of the episodes and we don't get nearly enough of him. I think that Max should have been kidnapped much sooner so the rest of episode 1 and all of the 2nd episode were the adventure to find him. Bring in both Vink and Sardo sooner to work together to help Rush. Or don't. I would have been happy with them on opposite sides if we had more of them. I mean, picture Sardo bumbling his way through helping Rush while Vink is on the side of Cutter, which actually feels more appropriate to the Vink that we've seen in the past, right? Then, in the final showdown, Max and Rush take on Cutter, while Vink and Sardo have their own duel. Though, I'm pretty sure Sardo loses that fight.
Perhaps I added too much ginseng.
The scares were okay here. For being a pirate-themed story, I feel like they managed to work in plenty of creepy moments. One of my favorites is when the boat rows to shore with the cloaked figure facing away from the camera. We then get the reveal that it's a rather pedestrian skeleton, but that disappointment is short-lived when the flesh grows back on the skull. An ambitious effect that I think actually looks pretty good for a show with such a small budget. Cutter also brought a lot of menace in his performance, which I believe would scare the crap out of any child. Younger me probably would have found this one a bit scary. Enough to avoid looking through spy glasses at any rate.
I'm telling you, it's busted.
The acting in this episode was excellent. Sandy wasn't really in the episode enough to judge, but Max was great as the younger brother who was equal parts annoying and likable, and also did some great I'm in a trance acting. Rush was a great lead. I remember being complimentary of his face acting in The Tale of the Full Moon, and here he gets the chance to give a more nuanced performance. You believe him when he lashes out at his brother in anger, and also when he regretfully apologizes later.
Can I be on your team again?
The adult acting in this episode was also top-notch. The weakest performance was from the ghost of Ian Keegan, but I don't even blame the actor. I mean, for some reason, most Are You Afraid of the Dark ghosts are presented in white and with the emotional range of a mannequin. Unless you're evil, of course, which brings us to Mr. Noise and Cutter. Mr. Noise was a terrific evil pirate sidekick. I mean, his performance here was just as good as it was in The Tale of the Magician's Assistant, and it's clear that the guy plays sinister characters very well. Now Cutter. Holy shit! I have seen Charles Dutton in a lot of things, and I have never seen him have so much fun on screen. He was insane and menacing in a way that made me want a big-budget Hollywood movie about the character. Vink and Sardo were also a joy to watch when they were in the episode, but, I mean, they just weren't given enough to do. I would have loved to have seen the buddy travel series that was teased for the two of them at the end, though.
I am so moved, I could almost die.
Frank Gerber, I'm going to give your story a pass. Barely, and only because I'm undecided and I know how everyone else voted. So, The Tale of Cutter's Treasure Parts 1 and 2 meets the approval of the Midnight Society. The Midnight Society members poll on this one was a landslide. At the time of recording this video, it was 92% in favor of, with 8% against, so even if I had gone against, I would have been outvoted. Congratulations, fellas. I want to thank the following Midnight Society members for participating in this video's poll.
Grandson, what they seek is not what they desire.
What does that even mean?
What they seek is not what they desire.
Okay, you know what? I can't with this guy right now. Names are on the screen.
Grandson, grandson!
I'm not your fucking grandson! What did you all think of Gary and Frank's story? Did you see it as a kid? Who do you think would win in a fight? Vink or Sardo? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check out the next episode on The Tale of the Quiet Librarian. Until then, are you afraid of the dark?
What he wants is not what he desires.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and a share, as it goes a long way to helping out the channel. Be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon to be notified when more Midnight Society videos go up. Thanks, everybody.